Good morning and welcome to KidNuz, generously underwritten today by the Jones family of Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, to shout out Ben for his 10th birthday. Ben, your mom, dad, David, Luna, and Etsy want you to know it's been a wonderful decade of watching you grow into the math-loving, hockey-playing, amazing person that you are, and that they're excited for the upcoming move and all the adventures to come. I'm Kim. Today is Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. And we begin with the harbor in Baltimore, Maryland, abuzz with the nation's best spellers. The semifinals of the 94th Scripps National Spelling Bee take place there today, with the finals and the crowning of this year's champion on tap for tomorrow night. This year, 231 spellers earn their spots as national competitors by advancing through regional bees and competing against students representing all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Department of Defense schools in Europe. The top prize is $50,000, a trophy, and some serious bragging rights. In 1925, the first year of the competition, the winning word was gladiolus, like the flower. 50 years later, it was incisor, a type of tooth. And last year, it was moorhen, the name for a certain species of water bird. What goes up must come down, and late last night, a SpaceX capsule carrying decorated American astronaut Peggy Whitson and her crew of 3 splashed down off the Florida coast. The mission wasn't one of NASA's. It was carried out by a private company called Axiom, which wants to make spaceflight routine even for those who aren't professional astronauts. Aside from Whitson, also along for the ride were an American businessman and 2 Saudis. The crew conducted 20 different experiments while on board the International Space Station, including a joint kite-flying project with Saudi school kids. Here's a lesson in what not to do if you drop your cell while taking a selfie. In India, a government official who butterfingered his phone to the bottom of a reservoir is in hot water for pulling political strings to retrieve it. First, Rajesh Vishwa sent divers in. Then, when they came up empty, he ordered the entire body of water drained. It took more than 3 days for pumps to siphon out 500,000 gallons. Yes, his phone was found, but to his disappointment and to no one's real surprise, it no longer worked. According to CBS News, Rajesh claimed his phone contained sensitive government information and that he had permission to drain the reservoir. But the state government said no, it did not give him the okay, and that he wasted water during a heat wave. The heat is also on in China. On Monday, the city of Shanghai hit 97 degrees Fahrenheit, its highest in more than 100 years. It broke the previous record of 96.3 degrees, which was set way back in May of 1876. The hot spell comes just weeks after large parts of Europe, North Africa, South Asia, and Southeast Asia also saw historic heat, which many scientists link to climate change. In Italy, the talk isn't of heat, but of hues. The famed Grand Canal of Venice turned a fluorescent green over the weekend, much like the Chicago River does on St. Patrick's Day. But this was no cause for celebration. City officials called an emergency meeting of police and grilled locals about who saw what and when. Water samples helped them figure out the culprit, a chemical called fluorescein, which is used in underwater pipes. There was so much of it, however, that officials reportedly doubt it was an accident. So far, no one has claimed responsibility. In sports news, 2 big championship series are now set. In basketball, the Miami Heat will face the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. Game 1 is Thursday. And in hockey, it'll be the Florida Panthers versus the Vegas Golden Knights for the Stanley Cup, the oldest championship trophy in North American sports, and the only trophy onto which the names of every member of the winning team is engraved. Game 1 is Saturday. That's it for KidNuz. Now our quiz, generously sponsored today by the Tillies of Bossier City, Louisiana, to shout out Christian Tilly, who turns 10 today and who is graduating 4th grade. Your mom, dad, and doggies Kimbo, Rocco, and Judo are all so proud. Now today's quiz. What big event is taking place this week in Baltimore, Maryland? The annual Scripps Spelling Bee. Where did the SpaceX capsule carrying the Axiom crew members splash down? Off the coast of Florida. What color did the Grand Canal in Venice, Italy turn? Fluorescent green. Which two teams are facing off in the NBA Finals? The Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. In today's KidNuz Kicker, when you gotta go, you gotta go, even if you're a big league baseball player and it's your turn at bat. As the Mets' Pete Alonso said during a recent appearance on Foul Territory, he knew he was in trouble while fielding in the bottom of the first, but because he was leading off the second, he had no time to answer nature's call. On his way to the box, he told himself, "This at-bat is ending first pitch. I need to go." Lucky for Pete, he launched the first ball he saw straight into the bleachers and promptly made a beeline to the bathroom. No celebrating, no high fives. The homer was best case, he said. "If I had to run the bases, I would have had to get picked off on purpose." The Mets slugger is on pace to hit 59 homers this season, rivaling Aaron Judge's American League record of 62 set last year. Before we go, we want to thank the Jones family of Fort Washington, Pennsylvania for sponsoring today's episode. Wish Ben a happy birthday and give a KidNuz shout out to his teacher, Mr. DeMarco, and all his friends at Fort Washington Elementary. And thank you, too, to our generous quiz sponsors, the Tilley family of Bossier City, Louisiana. Christian, we hope you have an awesome 10th birthday and a fun graduation. And a quick hello to our other KidNuz classrooms, including Mrs. Pawlowski and her Lions at Lions Park in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Ms. Kim at the Arizona State School for the Deaf and Blind in Tucson, Arizona. And Ms. Manessa and her raccoons at Wagner Ranch in Orinda, California. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.